What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday, January 5th, 2024, the first Friday live stream here on the channel. Sorry about that. I had this little feedback. I tried to do the little multi-stream thing on Instagram. I need to figure out how to actually get that to work properly the way that I really want to. So I'm gonna just stay on YouTube for the day. Sorry for those on who was on Instagram. It was like a lot of echoing on that thing. I don't know why. But anyway, it is Friday, January 5th, 2024. The first live stream Friday, the first Friday live stream of the year. If you haven't done so already, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Welcome on in for those who are in so far. If you are newly subscribed to the channel, welcome on in. It says I have 38 people so far live watching me right now. I don't know why the number is so low, but we will work with what we have. So let's see, who do we have in here so far? Sharon Jones, Janesta Coleman, Hacksign KT, Denise Scales, Donna C, Tildall 12, Cool Spider, Wallow J, Kid Gravity, and that is it so far. He said, "Did I mute the tab?" That's probably what I forgot to do. But you know, I'll work on it the next time. Hopefully the people that was over there come over here. It wasn't that many people over there anyway. They were just hearing the intro music. It was like 3 people in the chat over there. So it's not like I really got into anything as of late or as of yet. I didn't get into any news stories. But yeah, I hope everybody is having a good day. I hope everybody had a good first week into 2024. I don't know where y'all are located at in the world, but tomorrow where I'm at, it's supposed to snow. Yes, tomorrow it is supposed to snow in my state. It'll be the first official snowfall of the year. I don't know how much we're going to get. They just said when it's coming and when it's leaving. But it is what it is. Now, this isn't going to be one of the stories that I'm going to talk about today. But I figured I would start it off with this just by asking people this question. How many people in the chat have watched that Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp? Put a 1 in the chat if you watched that interview. Put a 2 if you have not. I'll admit I probably only have watched about maybe 80% of it because it is a long interview. It's like almost 3 hours. But what I have seen of it so far is very, very, very interesting. It has been the talk of social media since it got dropped a couple days ago. Like, that's literally what a lot of people have been talking about. I said this man went to sleep in 2023 and woke up in 2024 and said, I'm going to choose violence to kick off my 2024. And that is exactly what he did. That was a very interesting and eye-opening interview. If you have not done so already, I would highly suggest that you do watch it. It does have some funny parts in it, but the parts where he's talking about his family and his upbringing, that's when it gets very I guess you could say very deep. And what's also interesting is a lot of the clips that people have seen online that went viral about the parts that I guess you could say lure people into watching it. That's in the first 30 minutes of the interview. A lot of people would think, oh, it's spread out, or maybe further into the interview. No, the parts that a lot of people have been talking about online the most happened within the first 30 minutes of the interview itself. But yeah, I would highly suggest that you looked at it. I can't believe Kid Gravity said he watched that thing 4 times. That's crazy. That's like a whole work day that you just did by watching it 4 times. Over it. Well, a whole work day and some overtime. But shout out to everybody else who came into the chat. I see Tidra, Penny Lou, the daughter of the Most High, Inga71, DSB Buzzer Cam H1, Black Knight Discussions, J Cage. Shout out to y'all. Says we have 57. Jerome said he watched it 3 times. Like I said, it's very eye-opening. It is very, very interesting. It is very eye-opening to say the least. But let's go ahead now and get started. It is officially 6:10. I just wanted to start that off right there. Like I said, it wasn't a news story. I just wanted to bring that up. So as you all know, I always like to start off if there is a story that is positive. I would like to always start off with those first. Now, this story actually came out almost a month ago, but I didn't find out about it until like maybe last week. And of course, you know, last week I did my end of the year stream, so I couldn't talk about this story until today. And that is about the tennis player Coco Gauff. As you know, she is one of the youngest tennis players playing professionally right now. She's currently 19 years of age, and she has just been listed as the highest paid female athlete after earning $23 million in 2023. Now, that's just how much money she made playing the sport. She also earned an additional 16 million in just endorsements. So really she got paid more than 23 million, but they're talking about 23 million as a base because they're not including the endorsements, because endorsements, that's just something you earn outside of the sport, so they wouldn't count that. But either way, she's the highest paid female athlete, and it doesn't matter what sport it is, whether it's tennis, basketball, any sport that female athletes compete in, she's the highest paid. So definitely congratulations to her. And I'm sure, you know, and you know, she's still young. She's not even 20, you know, so hopefully she has some good people around her, some good financial advisors that will tell her what direction to invest her money in so it can grow and monopolize over time. So definitely congratulations to her for achieving that. Because for the longest, of course, you know, Serena Williams was like the highest paid female athlete for so many years. But of course, you know, when she retires, of course, that crown that achievement has to be passed to somebody else. And who would think that the next person is, you know, given to is someone else who's coming up in her sport, who's also a Black woman herself. So definitely congratulations to her. And I can't wait to see what else her future holds. So now that we have the good stuff out of the way, let's get into the nonsense. And none other than, y'all want to hear about what a model minority member did, what she got caught up in? This woman named, what's her name? Alexis McNeilly. So let me read to you what it says at the top. Bond increased for ex-Houston Methodist nurse accused of stealing drugs and replacing them with saline. Let me go ahead and increase this. Let me turn the volume up and let's see what the news got to say about it.
This afternoon, alarming new details about a former Houston Methodist nurse. Last week, we told you about Alexis McNeilly.
She was arrested for allegedly stealing opioids from the hospital and replacing them with saline. Today, prosecutors are telling us some of the tampered medications were administered to patients unknowingly. Our Michelle Choi joining us live from the Harris County Criminal Courthouse to explain.
Yeah, Alexis McNeilly bonded out of jail late last week, but she was taken back into custody this morning after a judge revoked her bonds and set it at a higher amount totaling $45,000, citing she was concerned about the safety of the community. KHOU11 was the only camera rolling as the 25-year-old showed up to court with her mother. Both had no comment. McNeilly is charged with 3 counts of diversion of a controlled substance for personal use. The former nurse with Houston Methodist Hospital was fired from her job after prosecutors say she was caught on camera nearly a dozen times between March 18 and May 15 last year, stealing opioids meant for patients and replacing it with saline, as well as injecting herself with the painkillers that, according to court documents, included fentanyl and hydromorphone. At times, it alleges while on the job. Prosecutors say the hospital found out McNeilly was stealing medications by overriding their automatic medical dispenser system, leading to an internal and eventual criminal investigation by HPD. Even more shocking, today we learned some of those tampered medications were put back into rotation and used on patients.
It's a very serious case. These syringes were later provided to patients. They were provided and administered by her coworkers who had no idea that they had been tampered with.
Prosecutors say investigators also learned McNeilly was fired from her last nursing job, accused of similar offenses.
But they were also able to go back to the hospital in Dallas and kind of see what was going on there. And there was a track record of this going on.
Court documents allege at the time McNeilly admitted to using the stolen medications to help deal with her anxiety due to extreme personal stress. Methodist Hospital sent us the following statement saying this employee's conduct was unacceptable and never tolerated at Houston Methodist. The employee was fired immediately and law enforcement was notified. We have extensive safeguards in place to protect our patients. It's still unclear how McNeilly was able to work at the hospital given her prior allegations. Part of McNeilly's bond conditions include no alcohol or drugs and no contact with Methodist Hospital.
I'm trying to figure out why, when I'm looking at the video of her, why is she walking around so freely, like she's just there for a visit. Like they don't have her in cuffs or nothing. She's just walking around like she works at the damn courthouse. So this woman took opioids meant for patients and replaced it with saline. And what she did with the opioids, I'm gonna ask y'all in the chat. Do y'all think she took the opioids for personal use, mainly to use for herself? 2, do you think she took it to distribute to other people like she was a supplier? Or 3, do you think it's a combination of both? Do you think that she was both being a user and a supplier or a dealer, however you want to put it? Wallow J said both. Till Dog said personal use. Denise said both. Tidra said 3, so I'm assuming that means both. Black Knight said both. Kid Gravity said white boyfriend. Daughter of the Most High said both. Okay, so most of y'all, for the most part in the chat, are saying that she most likely used it for both recreational use and to distribute out to other people. I don't have to agree. I think she was doing both, personally. And the way she was walking around looking all spaced out, I wouldn't be surprised if she was high in the damn courtroom. What's going on, Royal family? Like, I mean, she looked all spaced out. Like she didn't know where the hell she was going. I said, can someone guide this woman, please? And like the news clip said, this is not the first time that she's done this. She did it at a previous place she worked at when she was a nurse there. I'm trying to figure out, how is it that the hospital that she worked at recently, which is where the story is, how come they did not, her previous employer did not inform this hospital about what she was doing? They could have called her right there before she had the opportunity to, 1, even work there, and 2, commit the acts in which she was doing. And I would like to know, how many patients did she do this to? And like Kid Gravity said in the chat, the hospital can get sued for a lot of money. Luckily for her, none of the patients died from whatever medical issues they were suffering from, in which they needed those drugs. What's going on, Tamika? But you know, the AAPI ain't going to talk about this. Andy No ain't going to talk about this. The Asian Crime Report page ain't going to talk about this. What's his name? Charlie Cheon ain't going to talk about this. And you for certain, Diane Yap ain't going to talk about this either. And if she does, she'll find a way to spin the block and put it back on the black people somehow, some way, because that's just how conniving that chick is. But believe it or not, some of your biggest dealers are the ones who work around a lot of those prescription drugs. I mean, think about it. They have access to a bunch of prescriptions every single day. Your pharmacists, they have access to a whole bunch of drugs every single day. Some will take those drugs for their own use. Some will take those drugs and give people the wrong dosage amounts. They'll give them more than what they need. A whole bunch of stuff. But like y'all said in the chat, I was reading the chat as this was playing, they need to lock her ass all the way up. Give her the biggest charge that you can. And that $45,000 bond, she shouldn't even have had that. Even with the increase, which begs me the question, what was her bond before they made it to $45,000? You mean it was way less than that? She needs to be locked up with no bond. She's proven to herself and to others that she is a danger to the outside world. But we'll see what happens. And again, this happened in Texas. So if any of my people are in this chat right now, live in the state of Texas, if you can, try to see if you can keep me updated on this story. So now we're going to move on to the next one. Now, this one right here, many of you probably have heard about, and it involves this Amazon driver who was just doing her job, simple delivery, where she got attacked by these two Coco bitches. Yes, I said it. It's been a long time since I said that word, but then another little phrase that I made up. So I'm gonna play this right here. The news clip is only 46 seconds long, but I think most of it is the video itself.
New tonight, HPD is responding to an Amazon contract worker who wants charges filed against two women who harassed and assaulted her as she tried to deliver a package.
We've had thieves here, and you're a thief?
We showed you Jemiah Miller's video last week after it went viral. She recorded the women in the Bell Mead at River Oaks, accusing her of being a thief and snatching the package she was trying to deliver. Miller says her followers helped her identify the women. She posted their photos on social media this afternoon. We are still blurring them because they've not been charged. HPD tells us they have to interview the two women before presenting the case to the district attorney's office. No word if those interviews have happened yet.
All right, so y'all saw that right there. Now, there is a much longer video to this, and it's more unedited. The full video was probably about 2 minutes long, maybe, if that. I did actually see the full one because BLR actually talked about it on his, well, one of his several variants, as I like to call them, channels a couple days ago. And this woman right here was just doing her job. You see, she has the package in her hand. All she was doing was going to deliver the package. Now, here's the kicker. The news clip didn't put this in there, but I found it out in another video. The package that she was delivering was for them or for one of them. She wasn't delivering it to anybody else in that apartment complex. It was for one of those ladies that attacked and harassed her. Now, you saw right there in the video, the one that's recording it, she up there lying, saying, oh, you're grabbing my arm, you're doing this, that, and the third, stop harassing me. But then she taps or hits the woman with her phone. Let me rewind it back a little bit so y'all can see that, just in case you missed it. Let me see if it's in here.
We showed you Jemiah Miller's video last week after it went
right there. You see it? You saw when the camera went dark. That's when this bitch hit her with the phone, with her phone. At that point, that is assault with a weapon. You use your phone with a weapon to hit me. If I decide to drop this package or hit you with it, it's fair game. That's self-defense. And she had every right to do it. Now, the other part of the video that's not shown here was another woman there who said she was going to call the cops. And the black woman, the Amazon driver, said, I'm good. Please call the cops. And the white woman comes back and says, no, I'm not calling the cops on her. I'm calling the cops on you. Only in this establishment that we live in can you be black and work your job, get harassed by them, and you are the one that's looking like the bad person. Remember, this happened a couple years ago with that black male FedEx driver or something like that, where he was trying to make a delivery. And that white guy tried to box him in or block his vehicle from moving so he could make the delivery. Because apparently, you know, you're not supposed to be there. And people love to say that white supremacy doesn't exist. This is exactly why Harvey went off in that video that he did yesterday about ramen noodles. Because you got people out here that are playing around thinking or trying to claim that white supremacy is not a thing and it doesn't exist anymore when it does. Notice this always happens with black delivery workers, whether they are working for the USPS, UPS, Amazon, FedEx, anything that requires a delivery of a package. If they end up in one of these neighborhoods that's predominantly PC, they seem to always run into these damn issues. They always like to say black people are lazy, they don't work. Black people get a job and work and still get harassed. All she wanted to do was deliver the damn package and continue on her way. That messes her route up because they're on a deadline, they're on a schedule. And her having to deal with them, that's unnecessary. I'm sure after she was done with this, she couldn't even finish delivering her packages to the people that needed them. She probably went right back to the Amazon warehouse where she came from and told them about what happened. If I was a person that was expecting a delivery that day and I found out and linked it to this, I would be pissed. This is why a lot of Black people nowadays are choosing to work from home. Hint, hint. You know how we always like to talk about homeschool? So, our kids don't have to deal with what's going on in them schools. A lot of Black people are choosing to work from home so they don't have to deal with this shit. Because it's not just inside dealing with like deliveries. It's even in your corporate offices. All this woman wanted to do was deliver a simple package like every day that she does her job and keep it moving. Who would have thought that I would have woke up today and this is what I would have ran into? But hopefully, it sounds to me like she's definitely going to sue them, which she should, and she should get everything she can out of them, and also get them on charges, especially this one right here who hit her with a phone. That is most definitely assault with a weapon. She used her phone as a weapon and hit this woman twice with her phone. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. So this is the next story right here, and this is a story that has been circulating the news just as much as that Cat Williams interview, and that is the Claudine Gay resignation from Harvard. So I'm gonna play this news clip right here, and it's some other information I'm gonna show you as well connected to this story.
To the fallout at Harvard after University President Claudine Gay resigned Tuesday as she faced mounting plagiarism accusations and criticism of her handling of anti-Semitism on campus. Selena Wang is in Cambridge, Massachusetts with more for us this morning. Good morning, Selena.
Hey, good morning, Michael. This was a stunning fall from power. Claudine Gay became Harvard's president just 6 months ago with high expectations, but now she's become the shortest serving one in the university's history. This morning, growing fallout at Harvard University after the school's president resigned over a flurry of controversies. In a statement, Dr. Claudine Gay saying she resigned, quote, so that our community can navigate this moment of extraordinary challenge with a focus on the institution rather than any individual. Dr. Gay was one of 3 top university presidents who came under fire for their answers at a congressional hearing on combating anti-Semitism on campus.
Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted at an individual.
It's targeted at Jewish students, Jewish individuals.
Afterwards, Dr. Gay apologized for what she called poor wording in her testimony. But conservative attacks on Gay kept coming, including allegations that Gay plagiarized in her scholarly work. A Harvard-led investigation revealing, quote, a few instances of inadequate citation, but the university finding no violation of its standards. Some faculty members are angry that Gay was pushed out. Harvard's Professor Ryan Enos told the student newspaper that Gay's resignation, quote, represents an attack on the independence of universities that shows universities in the United States can be bullied and attacked for political reasons. But one student who has faced incidents of anti-Semitism says her departure is a step in the right direction.
I felt that some action was necessary at some point. The administration had created an environment that was uncomfortable for Jewish students on campus, so something had to change.
And it's been a rocky 6 months for Dr. Gay. She was Harvard's first Black president, and when announcing her resignation, the university said she's been facing racist vitriol, the university condemning those personal attacks on her. Lindsay?
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there. Let me pause this right quick. So yeah, that's another story right there that has been going on in the news. Now notice that it says that she was forced into a resignation. She wasn't forced into a firing. They did not fire her. They just forced her to resign. So that means she's still getting paid by the college, and they hate that. And the way I found out about her, how much she was making in her salary, was because of them pocket watching PCs. As a matter of fact, remember the video I did today about Joey Manarino and his tweet about LeBron James? The first thing he led with was about his money, about him being a billionaire. Do you know that Claudine Gay, as president of Harvard, was making $900,000 a year? Let me say that again. Claudine Gay, as president of Harvard, was making $900,000 a year. That is close to $100K a month. And also, too, I found out that before she became president of Harvard, she was the dean of the faculty or something like that. In that position, she was making $878,000 a year. So that's roughly around 20,000+ less than she was making as president. So this woman was making some damn good money in her previous position, as well as the position they just forced her to resign from. And I just found out also that now that even though she's not the president anymore, she's still working at the school as a professor. So while she's probably had to take a pay cut, I don't know how much she'll make now, she's still getting paid by the college, just not as the president anymore. When I heard that, I said, now it's starting to all make sense. You know, she's a black woman. She's the first black woman president for this college, and she's making that type of money. Wow. If she lived within her means, which I'm assuming that she did, she's good. She's gonna be set for life. Now, I don't know how long she's been president. It doesn't sound like she's been in that position very long, but notice in the video, in the news clip, they said she's been facing racist attacks on her even far before what she said back in December. But when I had saw that clip of her back in December, I said, yep, they're going to do everything that they can to get her up out of there. Because notice these accusations of plagiarism, they were so-called around all since the 90s when she did that paper. I think it was like 97 or something like that. Why didn't they say anything then? But when she said something that hurt their feelings, let's go and dig on her and investigate. And this is what they found. And on top of that, it wasn't even plagiarism, but they put it out there as it was because someone pulled up her paper and showed that she cited her sources. I'm like, if you cite the sources, then that means you did not plagiarize. I would know because when I was in college to graduate my senior paper, we had to cite every source that we had. We had to put the citation, and then we had to have a citation page at the end of the paper. So when our professors looked at it, they can just go right to the source and say, oh, that's where he got it from. That's where he or she got it from. And guess what? I got a 97 on that paper, 3 points shy of a perfect 100. So I know what I'm talking about. And this was a 20+ page paper while juggling like 17 credit hours. Do you know how hard that is in the first semester of your senior year when all you want to do is chill, but you know you got work to do? So they can't get me with that. But you want to know who did plagiarize? Bill Ackman's wife, Nuri Oxman, or however you pronounce her name. Now, Bill Ackman was one of the ones leading the charge against Claudine Gay with the plagiarism thing. Meanwhile, his wife, they pulled up her stuff and showed that she was plagiarizing. And guess what? When they looked at her paper or whatever it is they were looking at, there were no citations there. But when I was looking at the comment section on X about this, of course, you know, that was peak I'm white and I say so right there, doing all kind of covers for this woman. Because someone had posted this in the Discord. I said, this is peak I'm white and I say so right here. Now, Bill Ackman, are you going to check your wife or nah? Because it seems like everybody else is doing it for you. DSM Sinister said TBA did a hell of a takedown of Ackman last month. I need to go and look at that. I need to go and look at that. It says BI analyzed Ackman's wife's doctoral dissertation and found numerous instances of plagiarism. Shout out to Kid Gravity because he actually did a live stream earlier today, kind of talking. I don't know if it was necessarily about this, but he was talking about Claudine Gay and the whole thing with people talking about plagiarism. And then, of course, the name Christopher Rufo, his name came up. And he was just basically saying they're going to shoot themselves in the foot with this. Just like they did with the overturning of affirmative action last year. They thought that was their way of sticking it to black people, and all they did was stick it to themselves. And they still paying for it today. They wishing they probably did. They wishing now they didn't get rid of it. I said, y'all better tread very lightly with how y'all are trying to go at black people in particular with this plagiarism thing. Because it's always going to backfire. But see, they always feel like they got to get a one-up. And let's not forget, I did a video last month in December about Harvard's Z list. Who remembers the video that I did about Harvard's Z list? So don't talk about no damn morals. I bet Bill Ackman and Christopher Rufo and all those other goddamn jelly-back, lopsided, slope-headed degenerates over there didn't say anything about that. And that was going on a whole lot longer than Claudine Gay was president. Oh, and let's talk about the college admission scandal of 2019. I'm telling you, we cannot take a morality lesson from them because they don't know it. I said, if they're not going to call it out, I for damn sure will. And I have no problem doing it. But shout out to everybody again who's in the chat so far. We got 130. It was 136. It just dropped 6, but that's fine. We have 130 people in the chat. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the stream. We have a couple more stories to go. So next up, we're going to talk about the story coming out of Los Angeles. It's a very sad story. Definitely one that shouldn't have happened, involving this woman named Niani Finlanyson. I can't pronounce her last name. Finlanyson. She was the black woman who called the police on her abusive boyfriend, basically trying to tell them like, hey, I need help because she said her boyfriend was attacking her and abusing her. And when she called the cops, it went a whole nother way. So some of y'all in here may have heard the story, but in case you haven't, here we go.
The LA County Sheriff's Department has released the body cam footage of the shooting death of a Lancaster woman. 27-year-old Niani Finlanyson was killed by a deputy after she called 911 to report that her ex-boyfriend had tried to strangle her.
And Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Fisher is live in the newsroom with a shocking new video on this story. Michelle?
Well, David and Giovanna, a little more than 3.5 weeks ago, this fatal deputy shooting occurred. The Sheriff's Department today releasing the 911 audio and that body camera footage from the December 4th incident in the name of transparency. A warning that the footage you're going to see may be disturbing to some.
27-year-old Niani Finlanyson shot and killed by an LA County Sheriff's deputy. The fatal encounter coming after she'd been the one to call them for help minutes earlier.
I need the police here. This man, he won't get out of my house now.
Finlayson heard here making that frantic 911 call shortly after 6 on December the 4th, asking for help at the Cedar Ridge Apartments in Lancaster.
Yeah, I need the police here right now. No, because he won't get his hands off of me.
This body camera footage showing deputies responding to the domestic disturbance, hearing yelling from inside, then attempting to force entry into the apartment. Finlayson eventually opening the door with a large kitchen knife in her hand. You can see weapons drawn as the deputies enter the unit. The deputy in front handing her colleague a taser as they step inside and first encounter Finlayson's 9-year-old daughter. We're freezing the video because of the disturbing nature, but within a matter of seconds, as Finlayson turns towards her boyfriend with a knife in the living room, the officer with a taser draws his service weapon and opens fire, striking Finlayson multiple times.
No, drop it! Why did you shoot?
That question, top of mind for many as the community gets a first look at the footage made public today. LA County Sheriff Robert Luna saying in a statement, quote, the department released the body-worn camera footage ahead of the legal time frame to demonstrate our commitment to transparency and the visual representation of the facts in this case. As the comprehensive review process continues, the department will gain additional insight into the incident with the goal of improving public safety.
And per California law, body-worn camera footage from a deputy shooting must be released within 45 days of the incident. While the LA County Sheriff's Department continues its investigation, the LA County DA's office also conducting its own independent review. Finlayson's family, meantime, filing a $30 million claim against the county.
All right, so y'all just heard that. And before I go any further, shout out to Blueberry Muffin for the $20 super chat. She said, we have no friends. We have to take care of ourselves and look out for each other. I appreciate it. But yeah, that is a very, very sad and unfortunate story. This woman was calling the police because of a domestic dispute that was happening between her and her ex-boyfriend. And you saw she was holding the knife in her hand. All they saw was this woman holding the knife in her hand, and they just knew that she had to be the one. She had to be the aggressor. Didn't assess the situation. Mind you, she already called them to come there. She already called them to come there because of an issue that was going on. Like, he came in the house. He wasn't invited. He pretty much bogarted his way into the spot. And they still fired off on her and killed her. And you saw, unfortunately, right there, you saw her body laying right there on the floor. Even to the point where the person that she was calling the police on yelled at them, "Why did you shoot her?" Now, y'all saw another person standing there or went at the door when they were coming in. That other person that was standing there was her daughter. So these cops killed her mother in front of her. The last image that her daughter will ever have of her mother alive is seeing her mother being gunned down literally mere feet away from her. She already had the person, her ex-boyfriend, who for all intents and purposes it can be seen as an intruder at this point, at a point where he couldn't do anything because he didn't have a weapon, a projectile weapon on him to like shoot her. She had the situation there, but she called him because it was a lot of issues going on out of her control, but she managed to get a hold of that knife. I was trying to see if I could find the 911 call. That way y'all can hear it of what was being said, because I want y'all to know, or I would like for y'all to hear what was said, because I actually heard it the other day. But for some reason, I can't find it. But when she had called the dispatcher to send someone over there, the person on the other end of the phone seemed like they weren't trying to believe a word she was saying. Like, they were sounding very standoffish to her. They talked like they had an attitude and all types of stuff. Like, whoever was on the other end of that phone when she called 911 initially, they need to be investigated and their ass needs to be fired. Like, they were telling her a bunch of stuff to do that just seemed so outside of protocol, like for a situation like that. And notice it said that they shot her multiple times. It wasn't just one pop, it was multiple pops. I don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. This is the LASD we're talking about here, so I don't know. Well, hopefully it goes the way that it's supposed to, but either way, her daughter is going to be traumatized for the rest of her life. But let's move on to the next story. Now, this story right here is absolutely wild and insane. I haven't talked about Hall T in a while, but here we have a story involving Hall T, where you have this person whose name is Tommy Dorfman. They are labeled as a trans actress, and they tried to accuse a Delta employee for intentionally misgendering them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read the video. I'm going to read the article and I'm going to play the video of the encounter. And I just want y'all to hear how ridiculous all of this sounds. I mean, it sounds ridiculous already, but the video is even more insane. A video by transgender actor Tommy Dorfman in which they accused Delta Airlines employees of intentionally misgendering them quickly went viral and sparked a fiery debate on social media. Dorfman, who played Ryan Shaver in the Netflix drama series 13 Reasons Why, came out as a transgender woman in 2021. The 31-year-old actor shared a roughly 30-second clip to their TikTok over the weekend showing part of the altercation. In the video, Dorfman said while at LaGuardia Airport in New York City, several Delta employees, including one they identified as Tristan, intentionally misgendered them multiple times. So I'm going to skip ahead. And by the way, this is who that person is. Let me go ahead now and just play the actual video for you so y'all can see it.
What about?
Let me go ahead and blow the video up. Now, mind you, now this is a black man right here that this person is going at. I just thought I would add that in for context. So let's go ahead and see what they're talking about on here. It's about 33 seconds long.
What about when an adult employee misgenders you intentionally?
While he's talking, you're talking.
You just misgendered me again.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Gotcha.
Both of you have.
Sorry. Wasn't intentional, but if you want to take it personal, that's also.
Well, she did do it intentionally twice.
You're talking to me too.
You said she and then you said he.
You're being condescending, and if you want to continue, I have Port Authority escort you out the building right this moment. If you want to play that game with me.
Okay.
Would you like to continue 3 days before Christmas? I really don't mind.
I'm good. I'll just put this on.
Shout out to this man for standing firm on his square and telling this person like it is, because many people like be fearful to like check them. I'm glad that this person did. You know, I'm gonna play it again. That was too good, especially that last part.
You intentionally.
While he's talking, you're talking.
You just misgendered me again.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Gotcha.
Both of you have.
Sorry.
That side look was perfect. That's this should be a meme right here. This look that he gave. He had to do the head. He had to tilt the body head. He had to tilt the body, lean the head and the eye at the same time. You know, usually you're gonna do one or the other, but not all three at the same time.
Wasn't intentional, but if you want to take it personal, that's also.
Well, she did do it intentionally twice.
You're talking to me too.
You said she and then you said he.
You're being condescending, and if you want to continue, I have Port Authority escort you out the building right this moment. If you want to play that game with me.
And see, it was at this point, see, this Tommy Dorfman or whoever they think they are, who thinks they're above the fray, you can always tell when a person's never been checked before. And this is a person that's probably never been checked. They probably gotten away with so much stuff and saying a lot of shit to a lot of people. But when they come across that one, remember when we always say they haven't come across that one yet? On this day, on that day, 3 days before Christmas, as he said, he came across that one. And then this person put the video online thinking they were going to get a lot of support behind what happened. That didn't go well for them either, because when I was looking at some of the comments, people were roasting the hell out of this person. It's like, why did you even bother putting this out there for consumption? Like you was going to get a lot of people to support you, because truth be told, a lot of people were actually applauding the Delta employee. They were singing his praises.
Okay. Would you like to continue 3 days before Christmas? I really don't mind.
I'm good. I'll just put this on.
Exactly. Put your shit together and keep it moving. You holding up progress. People trying to get to their destinations. You want to be out here talking about someone misgendering you. But yeah, shout out to that employee for doing that, not backing down to this person. And they weren't even being disrespectful. But the thing is, they try to start a lot of shit with people so they can say certain things to get them into a position where they can say, oh, they did this and that to me. Here's the thing. Not everybody's on your time. Not everybody is bowing down to your program. It is what it is. But like I said, this person took to social media about it, and they thought that they had a lot of allies and a lot of support. They didn't. Donna said he thought he was going to get sympathy. Yeah. Wallow J said people are getting tired of the academy for real. Yeah, especially Hall T. Like that one right there is probably one of the main ones. So shout out to the employee, the worker, for standing on his square and not kowtowing to this. But none more funnier to me than the ma'am one. I'm sure y'all remember the ma'am one at the GameStop a few years ago, where that person came up in there all aggressive, looked like they were just in the beginning stages of their quote unquote transition, and they said, "It's ma'am." And when he began to walk out of the store, the employee had to give one more dig at that person and said, "You have a good night, sir." Came right back into that GameStop just to yell, "It's ma'am," one more time, and then start knocking stuff over and throwing a damn tantrum like they were a child. So there's that. So now we got one more story to go. And listen, this story right here, the video itself has gone viral on pretty much every social media site. And y'all know which one I'm talking about. The black guy that launched himself over that judge podium and tackled that judge. I'm going to go ahead now and play the news article or the news clip, and we will go from there.
Off the top tonight, it's the video everyone across our country is talking about. A defendant attacking a judge right as she sentences him. That short video raising so many questions tonight, and we have some answers. Our sources say the judge is doing okay. Her courtroom marshal has a serious gash on his forehead. And that man who attacked her behind bars tonight. And new tonight what that man said moments before this attack.
I would like to tell the courts and everyone here, like, based on my criminal history, like, I feel that, like, I shouldn't be, like, sent to prison for a second time.
Have you looked at your criminal history? Have you looked at your criminal history?
I actually just, I looked at it.
I mean, you lived it, I suppose.
I feel like I shouldn't be sent to prison, but if it's appropriate for you, then you have to do what you have to do.
And it appears that is what she was going to do. In fact, it would be a return for prison. Tonight, the 80s Now investigators learning Deobra Redden served a year in prison for domestic violence. It's one of several similar cases in his past, including when he bit a woman. And just last year, the same judge, recovering from her injuries tonight, sentenced Redden to probation for attempting to break into a home and shattering a door. This is our top story tonight. 80s Now investigator Kyle Payne is downtown where this all happened. And Kyle, this has people in the Justice Center behind you talking.
David, think about how many dramatic moments have played out in this courthouse here in downtown Las Vegas. But what happened today is so dramatic and just so over the top. It has other judges talking.
I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else.
Judge Mary Kay Holthus telling the defendant in front of her he needs a taste of life behind bars, possibly for up to 4 years. And then this. 30-year-old Deobra Redden flying over the bench and going after the judge, who didn't have time to get away. It's a sight not many of us have ever seen, but a notion not too far-fetched for anyone who spent time in that black robe.
It's sad that it happens, but it happened.
Bill Kephart was a judge in Clark County for 10 years, 6 in the district court just down the hall from his colleague, Judge Holthus. He's retired now, but he says every day judges make decisions that impact people's livelihoods, like when they sentence criminal defendants or they make determinations on civil cases worth millions and billions of dollars. He said some judges might be swayed by the stakes.
I think there's a few people that might be on the bench that recognize those threats too much in a sense that it influences their decisions. And Mary Kay's not like that.
Kephart says even though Judge Holthus may have given this defendant some jail time, her decision would have been fair because he says that's the kind of judge she is and prosecutor she was before that. Fair. And as you can see here, tough, as were the people who stepped in to try and protect her.
You can see that people in that courtroom care about her and wanted to make sure that that she's safe.
One other retired judge told me she'd been threatened by the FBI, and the FBI got involved. But in her experience, unhappy defendants usually go after their own attorneys and not the judge. Also, I called Judge Holthus' cell phone tonight, and it went right to voicemail. Reporting live at the Regional Justice Center, Kyle Payne, 8 News Now.
Redden will be in court again tomorrow morning, and 8 News Now, of course, will be there for you. Because he is in jail, he will no doubt be in handcuffs this time. So he'll have his legs probably shackled, as most in-custody defendants do. 8 News Now investigators breaking this story online. We alerted you to this from our free 8 News Now app. There is a lot more to this story right now online. Our app is always free for you to download.
All right, so that's the news clip right there. Now, ironically, I wanted to only play the news clip because they have the full video on this same website, but I'm not going to play it on here because the full video is 11 minutes long. So I'm posting the link to that. The article that I have on the screen right now that y'all just saw the news clip play on, the first video at the top of that link is the full video. It's like 11 minutes. Like you'll actually see what happens leading up to, you know, this part right here that went viral, because it's like a whole, like it's a whole good 5 minutes or 5 or maybe 7 minutes that leads up into what you saw before he leaped across that podium and tackled her. The only thing that I can see why he did what he did, and I'm seeing some of the comments in this in the chat, is because he did not like the delivery in how she spoke to him. He probably felt it was rude. He probably felt it was very condescending. He probably felt it was real standoffish and didn't seem like she, in his eyes, he felt like she didn't care. That's in his mind, that's how he internalized it. And that's what made, because when you think about it, he was calm the whole time. But when she said that last little bit right there in her tone, that's what set him off. Because everything up until that point was good. But when she said that last part and in the tone that she said it in, that's what made him go off and leap across that desk. Now, something else that I did read is that because of that, he got hit with 13 additional charges. So he's definitely going to be serving some jail time. That's a given. How long? I'm not sure, but I read that he got like 13 additional charges just based off of that one incident right there that everybody has seen. But I first saw this video on Instagram, and when I saw it, because I think someone sent it to me. I think somebody sent it to me in a DM, and when I saw that, my jaw dropped. I could not believe that he hopped over that desk. I said, I don't know how many people have been in a courtroom or not, but do you know how high those judge podiums are? That for him was like clearing a damn hurdle. I said, this is how 2024 is starting. Look at the date. January 3rd, 2024. And shout out to all of the sponsors, basically all the people who are members of the channel. I'm seeing the stream elements notifications roll in. I appreciate it. But yeah, this right here, when we do the year wrap up at the end of the year, this is definitely going in there. I know it's still very early. We still got a lot more year to go. This is still an election year. We still got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. But this one right here, put a pin in this as some of the wildest things to happen in 2024. This and that Cat Williams interview are definitely two moments. It's only the 5th, y'all. We still in the first week. It's only the 5th, the first Friday. Who knows what else is about to come out of this year. But yeah, y'all, that is going to bring this stream to a close. Shout out to everybody who came to the stream. First stream of the year. I'm glad everybody attended, who was able to attend. If you have to catch the playback, it is what it is. Shout out to Blueberry Muffin for the $20 super chat today. We will be back on here tomorrow. Oh, yeah, tomorrow. I put on my community tab that tomorrow I will be doing a 11 a.m. premiere video, of course, and I will be doing a midday stream at 12. And I said what's going to be interesting is that tomorrow's video, the premiere is going to be a triple P, and the 12 is going to be a bed bucking. But the triple P and the bed bucking video are going to be both on the same person. And I asked people to guess who it was, but nobody could guess who it was. So the premiere window as well as the live stream window are both up for those upcoming events right now. So when you get off of here, make sure y'all go ahead and turn your notifications on for both of them. And if it's the premiere video, make sure y'all leave a comment there. I'm telling you, this is going to be hilarious. And I know that when I do the live tomorrow, y'all are definitely going to have a lot to say about that. So with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. We will be back on here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and then again right at 12 for the live stream, and we will go from there. Be safe and be one.